In its first pilot episode, Star Trek, the original series revealed some dark truths about Captain Christopher Pike's, Jeffrey Hunter, most recent mission. Before Captain James T. Kirk, William Shatner, took over command of the USS Enterprise, Captain Pike sat in the captain's chair on the iconic ship. As established in Star Trek's original pilot, The Cage, Pike had an entirely different crew aboard his Enterprise, aside from his science officer, Spock, Leonard Nimoy. In The Cage, Pike answers a distress call from Talos for only to learn it had been a trap set by the Talosians. Upon beaming down to the planet, Pike meets a beautiful young woman named Vina, Susan Oliver, before the Talosians imprison the Enterprise captain. As number 1, Majel Barrett, leads a rescue mission, the Talosians present Pike with various illusions to convince him to stay. The powerful Talosians have tapped into Pike's mind, and their illusions reveal some interesting information about Pike's last mission. In one of the manufactured scenarios, Pike finds himself on Rigel 7, a planet he had apparently visited 2 weeks previously. The Cage reveals how Captain Pike killed someone directly before Star Trek began. Pike's first mission to Rigel 7 ended in disaster. In the illusion of Rigel 7, Captain Pike faces off against a Kalar warrior as Vina urges him on, saying, "You have to kill him as you did here before." Pike does not want to perform for the Talosians, but he has no choice but to kill the warrior to protect himself and Vina. Although Vina had not been there when Pike originally visited Rigel 7, the captain mentions that the situation begins just as it did then. Prior to the events of The Cage, Captain Pike led a mission to Rigel 7 that went bad, forcing him to kill at least one soldier. Earlier in The Cage, Pike spoke with the Enterprise's Dr. Phil Boyce, John Hoyt, revealing that 3 crew members were killed and 7 injured during the Rigel 7 mission. Pike blames himself for the attack, saying that he should have smelled trouble, but Boyce assures him there was very little he could have done. This mission affects him so much that Pike considers resigning from Starfleet. The revelation confirms a dark truth about this original vision for the Star Trek universe, proving from the outset that there was always more to the stories than innocent adventure. What Star Trek has revealed about the Rigel 7 mission before The Cage. Captain Pike revisited Rigel 7 in Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. Set after The Cage, but prior to the events of Star Trek, the original series, Star Trek, Strange New Worlds follows Captain Pike, Anson Mount, and his Enterprise crew. In Strange New Worlds Season 2, Episode 4, Among the Lotus Eaters, Captain Pike and his crew revisit Rigel 7, revealing more about what happened on their previous mission. Pike soon learns that his yeoman Zach and Gwyn, David Hwyn, had survived and had accidentally been left behind when the crew made a hasty retreat. In violation of the Prime Directive, Gwyn then declared himself ruler over a group of Kalar. While investigating the planet, Pike and the landing party also learn that an asteroid orbiting Rigel 7 has properties that cause memory loss. Those who remain on or near the planet long enough begin to lose their memories, soon forgetting their entire identities. Thankfully, Pike retains enough of himself to know that something is wrong, and he subdues Gwyn and later removes the asteroid, causing the memory loss. This allows the Kalar to retain their memories and begin re-establishing their culture. Star Trek, Strange New Worlds may have reinvented the character of Captain Pike. The orders had come directly from Starfleet Command, bearing a rare code, Top Secret, Eyes Only. Starfleet wasn't prone to secrecy, at least not on this level, but Pike sensed the stakes immediately. His mission was to travel to the remote system of Alora 4, where Starfleet had lost contact with a science vessel conducting classified research on an ancient alien artifact. The mission brief mentioned only one word regarding the artifact, Etherian. It sounded exotic, mystical, and unknown, qualities Pike had learned were often dangerous. As Pike went over the mission details, his trusted officers, Number 1 and Dr. Boyce, could see a change in him. "What's bothering you, Chris?" Boyce asked, trying to read the lines of worry etched into Pike's face. "This mission," Pike replied softly, his eyes narrowed. "It's different. Starfleet doesn't usually send us out to clean up after lost research vessels, and they certainly don't hand over something as cryptic as the Etherian. It feels off. But orders were orders." Soon, the Enterprise was charting a course for Alora 4, with Pike seated on the bridge, his gaze fixed on the stars that whizzed by. Little did he know that the next few days would haunt him forever. As the Enterprise approached Alora 4, the first signs of trouble appeared. Long-range scans detected debris scattered around the planet, pieces of what looked like Federation technology. Pike and Number 1 exchanged concerned glances. The science vessel had been there, all right. But it was in pieces now, its wreckage floating like ghostly fragments around the planet. "Prepare a landing party," Pike ordered, his voice carrying a grim determination. "We need to know what happened down there." He looked over at Spock, who was readying the equipment. "Spock, I want you on this. Whatever that artifact is, we need answers." Spock nodded, calm as ever, though his sharp gaze betrayed a trace of curiosity. "Understood, Captain." The landing party consisted of Pike, Spock, Number 1, and a few security officers. As they beamed down to the planet's surface, the oppressive atmosphere of Alora 4 hit them immediately. The air was thick and heavy, the landscape barren and desolate. The ruins of the science vessel lay scattered across a gray, misty plain. It was clear from the scorch marks that something catastrophic had occurred. As Pike surveyed the wreckage, a cold sense of dread began to settle in his chest. "What happened here?" Pike muttered, as they combed through the wreckage. They found remnants of the crew, their bodies eerily preserved by the planet's atmosphere. But no sign of the artifact. No sign of what had led to this devastation. "It's as if something tore them apart from the inside," Spock observed, his voice barely a whisper. "The damage to their bodies is unnatural." Pike felt a chill run down his spine. Starfleet science vessels were well equipped to handle anomalies, but whatever had caused this went beyond anything they had encountered. And then, as they continued their grim search, they found it, a large, obsidian-like object nestled amidst the rubble. It was about the size of a man, etched with strange markings that seemed to pulsate, almost as if alive. "That must be the Etherian," Pike said, his voice barely containing his unease. Spock approached it cautiously, his tricorder humming as he took readings. "Captain, the energy readings are off the scale. It appears to be emitting a low-level telepathic signal, though it's unlike any known form of communication." Before Pike could respond, a strange feeling washed over him. His vision blurred, and for a brief moment, he saw a flash of something dark.